What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Hunter Grand, your personal agent for change, making life easy, Barzini.
And I'm fempreneur extraordinaire and tech diva all day, Dre Renee.
And this is the Crossroads, where there's only one rule.
Be free to be you. You want to know what's funny?
What's he saying? I know he's saying so.
No, it's me. It's all me. All me.
Uh-huh.
So right when we got ready to start, I kept thinking about you saying, as we start every week, I'm afraid to mess it up. And so right when you started talking, I was like, shoot, what am I supposed to say?
Wait, I'm going to tell you this. Watch the playback because your face says it all. And you actually, you was thinking about.
I was like, oh God.
Wait.
I'm not sure. What's my lie?
More than that, hold up. I'm sitting here drinking an energy drink, which I shouldn't be, but I'm tired.
Shoot.
So you already know how this show is about to go.
We apologize in advance. But no, I had an air bubble coming up, and I'm like, shit. So the countdown is on the screen, and I'm like, shit. And I'm like, I know my lies, but the 1 minute when I'm feeling confident, now I'm like, I hope I don't burp right in the middle of the damn intro. I couldn't think of the line to save my life. But once you started talking, I knew what to say. But at the time, I was like,
listen, hold up. You always thought
I'm just going to be like, hi.
Yeah, you were sitting there like, hold up. And I'm low key in my head like, is she right?
Is she frozen?
Like, yeah, that one didn't. Y'all, okay, so look.
It's been a day.
I talk about Dre all the time, but one thing that I can't say is she's never buckled under pressure. Like, she's always on it. Like, she always says the right things. Like, she don't. So this is why this is extra funny. Like,
yeah, I was just like, I didn't realize what my face looked like, but I know I was in my head like,
Right. I'm wondering, should I pose the question to the audience?
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, I guess it will be something lighthearted before the dun.
Right.
It's pretty serious this evening.
The men don't log in until later anyway. Maybe if we see some, but no, we can't be into today's discussion and then like deviate from it. Plus, that's not even that's not appropriate for today's discussion anyway. So we're not gonna start off Black History Month.
We'll hold it.
Yeah. So next week, riddle me this.
Right. I love it. 3
guys walking the ball.
Right. Well, hi everybody. Thank you so much for being on and joining us this evening. It is February. It's Black History Month, and that part is exciting. It's always great to celebrate the history of our ancestors, which really is American history. It's really world history. So
Wakandan history, Zamundan history,
forever. Speaking of which, I think that have you seen Black Panther 2?
I have.
Okay, I know it's on Disney Plus now. So
I started. I wasn't gonna watch The Woman King, but then I started watching it. I haven't finished it yet.
So good.
Yeah. So.
I don't even know what I expected. I was kind of like, I can go see it. I don't have to go see it, but I wound up taking my mom, and I enjoyed it so much. So.
Yeah, I was kind of protesting. You know what I'm saying? Based on the subject matter. The whole, sold people into slavery. I'm like, nah, I'm not about to support that. Yeah. Then I'm on my, I'm sitting there flipping through. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch the beginning.
Give it a whirl. Yeah.
So far, I'm not even halfway through yet, but it's good so far. As far as movies go,
right?
Like we won't jump into the historical value. I'm just trying to watch it for cinematic value.
Got you.
I won't be that guy. But so one, before we even jump into the other stuff, because I'm not gonna throw a curveball, but we didn't talk about it in pre-production, but it's been going on, so we might as well talk about it too. But before we do that, let's pay these bills. She's like,
I was like, I'm not sure where we're going.
Oh, no. It ain't gonna be that
Okay.
big of a curveball.
I was like,
You'll be on board with it. But y'all, as always, the Crossroads Podcast is brought to you by the House of 334.
It's the house.
She remembered her line right there. For all your business branding and copyright needs, go to houseof334.com. It is Black owned, it is woman owned, it is Black woman owned, and it is amazing. And move fast because the house will fill up. I follow House of 334 on TikTok now, and I've been seeing, like, you know what I'm saying, the
tickety tock.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't gotten my website done yet. I will. I have to go to House of 334. So I can't let anybody else do my web. I have other websites I need to be built. But no, y'all, it's amazing work. And I'm not just saying that because this is my best friend and partner and sponsoring the show, you know.
They'll pull the plug on us.
Yeah. We can't hear. So it's a little bit odd when your partner is also the sponsor of the show.
Like,
she's like, wait, what? Y'all, it ain't gonna be pulling the plug. You just gonna see my screen go off, and she gonna
like they're gonna be watching it go from this.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. Real quick, I'm like, shit.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but like, so Barzini has that's like that video when Michael Jackson fired his MD on the spot. Did you see that video?
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that.
Oh, so he's singing I think it's I just can't stop loving you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be a breakdown, and it doesn't happen. And so Mike is ad-libbing, but he's getting on the production team, you know, like, it's supposed to be a breakdown, and they wouldn't break it down. He was like, what you gonna do, Brad, what you gonna do? And he was like, job's gone. Like, on him. How you sing fire somebody? So that's hilarious. Shout out to Brad that got fired on the spot. But yeah. So the Crossroads is also brought to you by the Crossroads. Y'all can go to our bit.ly, that's bit.ly/the Crossroads for all of the links for everything we do, y'all. You're watching us on YouTube right now, so please take a second, scroll down, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. We are trying to grow the audience, and we have goals that we're trying to meet. We can't do that without you. Also, if you would like to donate to the Crossroads, you can find that in our bit.ly. Y'all, this is a labor of love, but love ain't free. And if you think it is, go tell your landlord that you love them. So we appreciate all the donations, big and small, but y'all are what keep us going, and we love every bit of it. So if y'all want this great content coming at you every week, and also like email us, let us know what you want to hear about, what you want to talk about. If you want to come on the show, send us an email to crossroadspodcast@gmail.com. If you want to know what's coming up and things of that nature, we definitely love talking to the audience, and make sure you comment and stuff like that so we know what you want to see, what you want to hear. Leave us your thoughts, your comments, your testimonials about the show. So we love it all.
Do you watch Snowfall?
I do. Do I watch Snowfall? Okay. The last season's coming out on the February 22nd.
Well, I was just thinking, you know, if they don't want to talk to us, we can talk to each other about Snowfall for the next 2 months. we got content.
Listen, we got content. Listen. It's about to be a family affair. I can't wait to see where Jerome is gonna stand on this. Because you know Jerome love him some Louis.
Yeah, I think he's gonna ride with Louis.
But the thing is, she's making moves, or she's doing things without his knowledge. Like, he's always finding out after the fact when she's doing something. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, he might get tired of it before the whole season or series wraps up, but I think, you know.
Yeah, well, I know he was already tired of Franklin. You know, they was like, "Hey, we trying to," but
they want their own. Everybody wants their own thing. Having your own thing is overrated sometimes. Sometimes it's okay to just be a co or a silent partner. Like, you don't always have to be in the front.
But I wonder, who would you say put who on, right? Because Louis did give him the initial connect, right, when he was doing Small Time, but he
blew it up. He took it blew it up.
Yeah, he you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
And then he put them on with it, right? So So
but when stuff goes bad, I mean, well, it's not really about who put who on. I was saying it being he's the face. Like if something goes wrong, people are coming to him. You know, he's to blame for everything. When you are the top dog, you know, it's a lot of glory, but it's also a lot of mess. So, you know, if Louis wants that job, we'll see.
But more than that, I will say that everybody is playing the hell out their role. Especially shout out to Dams and Idris.
Yeah.
You would never know. Like, have you seen the interview when he's talking about like his dialect coach and how Dubsy was his dialect?
Yeah.
And to hear him go in and out of his accent. And a lot of people don't know. I can't think of his name. I'm sorry, but dude that plays Spencer on All American.
Yeah. Daniel Ezra.
Yeah. So
shout out to him.
A lot of people don't know that he's British as well.
Yeah. There's a lot of them hiding.
Right. and you know what and then they do these LA accents, and that's funny because being out here where I am, everybody. So I have met somebody, you know, the little dating app thing. So we texting, and then she finds out I'm from LA. So she was like, "Oh, do you sound Cali?" And I'm like, "What does that even mean?" Right. And so you know me, I just talk, and when we talk to each other, we don't hear accents because we both from LA, you know, from the crib. So I'll say something and then people just start mocking me or repeating what I said. I was like, why are you repeating what I said? Be like, hey,
like they don't have accents. Please.
Listen. Yeah, like listen to someone say yes out here. Like if the word is yes, they be like, yes. They don't say what, they be like, wet.
Like, no, I didn't say it was wet. I said
what? You're like, whoa. So hold on. So then the homegirl was in Atlanta, right? So she went to Subway down in Atlanta and she asked for avocado. And then the girl was like, wet? She was like, avocado. Like, first of all, she's explaining what it is. And she was like, oh, we don't have that.
Shout out to the South.
Yeah. Like, oh, whatever. But the problem is I assimilate to accents I pick up accents very easily. So you already know when I went to school out here, I came back and everybody was asking where I was from. I'm like, I'm from her. I'm from her.
Have mercy.
You know, and then when I talk to my mama, like that accent starts coming out. You know, my daddy don't have much of an accent. He think he Billy D or something, but my daddy from Daytona Beach, Florida. You know, so it'll come out when he's talking to his family because you know everybody from the South, especially Florida, call everybody a joker. Boy, that joker there. Boy, that joker there crazy. I'm like, huh? But anybody else? Oh, hello. How are you? How do you do? Yeah, he think he's something like a pimp.
Hey, Dad. Just in case you're watching, I didn't say nothing. I was saying.
Oh, he ain't watching them. I didn't send him the link tonight.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
well, let's go on and it's 7:15 for me, 6:15 for somebody, 8:15 for you.
So the thing that I did want to bring up before we get into the meat, Beyonce is.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, listen. Beyonce got the world
She got folks confused, mad, excited.
Like
it's a whole lot of emotion.
Like the world needs therapy, and all she did was post a picture and say, "I'm coming," and announce some dates. Folks is legit out here, like so. Folks is ready to sell a kidney to go to this concert because there's some ticket prices out here. And then other people are mad because they're saying those aren't the real ticket prices. Those are the resale prices. And they ain't even released them. And then you got those who are mad at the amount that these people is willing to spend for these tickets. I literally saw somebody say, if you're going to spend a car note on or the price of a car on these tickets, unfriend me. And then it's like,
that's
and
weird.
then you got people that's mad that people don't like Beyonce.
Oh, yeah. Now that
our favorite Beyonce fan.
Yes. We were talking about him last night. Like, child, if we get tickets and he don't get tickets because of this lottery system, I think the world
that boy will slit his wrist. if he don't get no tickets.
The
Listen,
world will burn.
that's the homie, but this is what killed me about him though, right? When it come around Beyonce, so this particular friend cannot stand if anyone says anything negative about Beyonce. You listen, he is the president of the BGNC. Right? And if you don't know what the BGNC is, you need to YouTube it. YouTube the BGNC, BEY Gen C. It's a Saturday Night Live skit. It's hilarious. It's some of the funniest ish that you're gonna see. But if you say anything, he's coming for your head. And so like no matter what, it's probably once a year he goes on this nobody asked you rant about Beyonce. Like, why do people gotta like, and he's dead serious. Like, don't say anything unsolicited bad about Beyonce. But forgetting the fact that everything we post on social media, period, is unsolicited. Literally, nobody asks us this stuff. Nobody, like, we just post our thoughts. And so, but like, my thing is, nobody asked you if you like Beyonce either. Nobody asked if you was buying tickets.
Well, barring a regular day when he just goes up for Beyonce, this is technically solicited from her. It's a response to the tickets going on sale. So fans are like, oh, we're excited. Okay.
So, but let's go. Most of the other stuff he posts his angst for almost anything, because that's true. Right. I hate this. I don't like this. And I'm like, who asked? He is the epitome of nobody. Him.
Oh God, I'm gonna just sip my drink.
I love him. That's the hobby, but he's literally loud on social media. He's loud. So, but we all have our narratives. We all have the things that we're passionate about. He's passionate about Beyonce. I'm passionate about that picture she posted.
I saw a couple people repost the picture. I didn't even look. I had to like stop. Like, what is it that's being reposted? I was like, oh, okay. But I guess it's not for me. I'm not the audience.
It was special.
Yeah. But Beyonce, like, I have lost it. Like, I'm not Beehive, but I'm not a hater. Like, I appreciate her. I think she is at this point the greatest living entertainer.
I like the caveat.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. I think she's the greatest living entertainer, and she does her thing. I've seen her a couple of times, and I haven't been mad either time.
I do have a friend that said that they were disappointed when they saw her. And then I asked, were you disappointed or underwhelmed? And
do you know which concert it was?
I don't remember, but I mean, I think she's at a level though to where, like, I've not been to a concert, but I imagine just her level of celebrity, just people being able to be there is enough for them, right? And so even so, it's like the perception is like, this is just so awesome, like it's her, you know what I mean? Kind of like when Mike got to that level to where, like, I've never seen a bad Mike show, but he was so big, so bigger than life, that I think we've all seen that clip and heard like the commentary of when he just came out there and he stood for what, like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and people were passing out
and he hadn't even sung a note. He stood.
Did he take his glasses off? Maybe. I think he.
No, like first he just moved his head. So he was standing there and he was like, and then he went like 2 minutes in. I think he like moved his head, and then they lost it. He moved his head ridiculous to me. 45 degrees. It was just, that's it. That's all he did. And imagine that kind of influence and that much. Like, if he would have just raised his hand, they would. And then I think he did take the shades off. Like he could. There's nothing on that stage he could do wrong. Like, that's just the level. So I'm not even gonna ask the question of Beyonce or Mike. That's because that's not a question to me. But Beyonce or Janet?
Oh, for me, it's Janet. But I think she's gotten to level where it's a serious conversation.
I'm
But Janet's been doing it, and she's still like, I have tickets in hand for Janet this year already.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have Beyonce tickets yet, so I'm like, for me,
I'm giving
it's
it
Miss
to
Jackson if you're nasty.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Beyonce out of the two.
Yeah.
Because one, I think body of work I give to Beyonce. Because I think Janet is still just going off of being an icon for so many years and the longevity of it. Like she's still just doing, like she's not done, as far as I know, new music. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we're still doing the old music. I don't see that for Beyonce. I don't see Beyonce getting to that level where she's just outperforming old music. It's like,
yeah,
I got my old hits, but here's something. You know what I'm saying? I just, I don't ever see her doing an Anita Baker one day. Like, who's a legend, but y'all, I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't say what I'm about to say, but she's saying the national anthem at the what was the NFC championship. I'm gonna say this. That's not her song. That the national anthem is not, her voice is not made for that song. Like her style, her like
that's what I think. She tried to, I said that to #boo. I was like, it's not that Anita Baker can't sing. She tried to sing that like one of her songs, and that is not.
Yeah,
that.
it was bad, y'all. And
then even singing it as one of her songs, it still wasn't.
Yeah, that's no. Like it wasn't even, it wasn't a Marvin Gaye song either, but he made it his. Mm-hmm. Like his rendition. And so I think somebody said just replay Whitney. And
that was me. I was the somebody.
Yeah.
I was people. I was like, at this point, we can just at every sporting event,
mm-hmm.
Especially the ones that need to be televised, just throw our dear Whitney.
Amber killed it too, though. When she's singing at the
World Series, she's an exception. She can go ahead and step up. She like, really can sing anything.
Yeah, but I love like they, other characters got like the shine and the top billing on the show, but anytime that the cast performed, and for those who don't know, I'm talking about Amber Riley from Glee. But every time the Glee
who won the Masked Singer?
Oh, just won the Masked Singer.
She wins like everything, like Dancing with the Stars.
Right,
she's winning everything.
Yeah. I'm mad I didn't get no camera time. Though I was mad. I was like, God.
Oh, you were there?
I choreographed part of it for her.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, is he saying this like we knew? Did we know any of this? Did I know any of this?
If y'all go,
no.
So if you YouTube the finale, when they do the finale show, she's stepping. So I choreographed the stepping portion of her finale, and she shouted me out after the routine, like when they was doing the judging. She shouted me out, and she pointed, but they never panned the camera over there. And then all of the rehearsal footage, like they had the cameras there, but they cut me out and they edited as if Derek did it all. I'm at the show, so mind you, I don't see any of this footage until like I'm at the show. And they're playing it on the screen and stuff like that, and so you don't know what you're gonna see because they just and then like Corbin Blue, he had his ringer come in and they was like doing the Michael Jackson choreography, so he was on there, but like I was cut out all the way out. So it is what it is. She won. That was the biggest thing.
Yes.
Maybe next week I got some pictures with the trophy though, with the mirror ball.
That's always good.
But shout out to Lil Sis. But yes, she does win everything. So if you're ever competing with her on one of these shows, go home because she's gonna win. I'm just saying.
Disclaimer: I'm about to use that clip on something. It's gonna be a YouTube stories. Go home. Yeah. She's gonna win.
Go home. She's gonna win.
I love it.
All right, so
okay. Now that we've gotten our spirits up,
hard shift. I'm gonna let you bring this one in. I don't even know how to.
Oh, thanks.
On the spotlight.
I know. So yeah, this month has already started on a somber note, just because, really, I guess maybe at this point it's been about a week since the footage has come out, but in early January, very at the top of January, January 7th, there was a man that was brutally beaten by former police officers in the city of Memphis, which ultimately resulted in his death. And, you know, this is something that we have seen time and time again, literally seen in terms of the Rodney King beating, which was recorded. And at a point in time, we were informed that there was footage of this beating, and it was released to the public, I would say maybe about a week or so ago. And I know that there were many people who refused to watch it, and which is understandable. But it was playing really everywhere. CNN, Fox News,
TMZ.
MSNBC, TMZ. And then, you know, those that like to report things like that on their social media channels. So if you could avoid it, you're lucky. But there's a lot of people who wound up seeing it through one of those sources. So, of course, we are talking about Tyre Nichols. And, you know, before anything, we are very, very saddened that he lost his life senselessly. And we send our condolences to his family members, friends, anyone really that has been connected to this type of brutality that has ended in the loss of life or just brutality, period, because there are some people who have experienced it that didn't lose their lives. Either way, you know, we send our condolences and prayers. What we wanted to do this evening is have a conversation. I mean, we pretty much know the details. I don't think there's anybody that probably doesn't know. We'll go over those briefly. But we really wanted to talk about, you know, some of the implications on the affiliations of the former police officers, some of the things and discussions that are being had on social media. We definitely want to hear from you. Please use the comment section. If you're on live with us, we want to hear your feedback. And if you're watching this even later on a replay, please share your feedback with us as well. So, you know, both of us, we are Gen X / top of millennial, depending on when.
I'm firmly
I'm a
Gen X.
Zennial. He's definitely firmly Gen X. I'm the question mark. Like, depends on who's doing the scale.
Right.
But if I'm a millennial, I'm at the very, very top of that thing. But I consider myself what's called a Zennial, right? So we're like in between. But in our lifetime, in the time that we can remember, right? Not like, oh, this happened while I was alive, but like we remember Rodney King. And we remember watching that footage. And they showed it at school, and you saw it at home, and they might have showed it at church. I mean, it was everywhere, right? And then more importantly, we remember and we live through the verdicts. And for both of us being natives and growing up in LA, we remember the riots. And you think, right, like, would this repeat itself after something so tragic that wound up being like this ripple effect across our communities and all the things that happened around that time, the Truce of Nine Deuce, all of that? It's like, will we wind up here again?
Shout out
Or for the
to
people,
Pyru Love, because that song on the
that was,
Banging
yes,
on Wax, that was the most
Banging on Wax. Yeah, side A and the Crip side and the Blood
in the
side,
bus.
right? I forgot. Oh, for those who wondered when, you know, NWA was saying F the police, right? And all the music that came out of South Central LA and the surrounding communities, like, is it really that bad? Or when you watch Boys in the Hood, you know, and you saw those types of scenes, like, Is that really how they get down in LA? And the answer is emphatically
Yes.
yes.
Hell
And
yes.
it took some time to see that this was not just happening in LA, but clearly this is happening everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, the police officers were Black, as was the motorist and the victim. And I think that in itself has caused another set of conversations to happen, especially in our community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have the tendency to want to um, attack each other, right? You know, what he could have done, what he should have done. And the larger point is that the system, the policing system, like, is broken. It is severely broken. And so even though they were Black, they were still under that shield. There's still a mindset there. There's still certain practices and beliefs that are there that are against Black and brown people, period. And sometimes it feels like, even if you are Black and you're wearing a badge, not everyone, of course, and we know that everyone in law enforcement is not bad, but it feels like, you know, once they're on the other side, they can not even remember, like, I'm Black too. Like, it's just, I'm above you because I'm wearing this badge, because I'm in blue. No matter who you are, I'm above you. I'm above the law. I can do whatever it is that I want to do. So that's what we're talking about for the rest of the evening. I know it's kind of, you know, not kind of heavy. It really, really is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But hey,
Hey, baby girl. Um, and she just had a birthday too. So
happy birthday.
happy birthday from January 25th.
Are you in January too? Oh, yay! January
She's the
babies.
25th. So yeah, like, okay, let me go back to Rodney King. I'll start there. Like, as you alluded to, I remember I was watching Channel 5, um, KTLA, and I saw the preview of, like, the report. You know how they preview the reports that's coming, like, after the break. And I saw the footage. And that's when I used to, like, I always had the VHS on pause because when I was going to record something. And I recorded it. I recorded the report. When it first got reported, I had it on VHS. And I remember showing my family, like, look, because I had never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I forget how old I was, but it had to be elementary.
I was
or
11,
junior
so
high.
you were probably,
Yes, I had it in junior high school.
like, yeah.
Yeah. So I had never seen anything like that from police, right? We know, I mean, of course it had been going, but just you hear about it or from your parents, but to see it and conceptualize it, like, that was my first experience seeing and conceptualizing police brutality like that, right? Fast forward, like, how many times have we seen it since, right? George Floyd, Mike Brown, Eric Gardner, Philando Castile, and on and on and on. And now Tamir Rice, and now we have Tyre Nichols. And it's sad to say, like, I'm at a point to where when people send me things, like, in the DMs and on social media, even if they don't die, like, police doing so, I pause even looking at half of this stuff because I'm so tired of being angry, right? I just don't want to be. It's not that I don't care. It's not that I just I want to experience a different emotion. And I know if I watch it and it's happening, all I ever feel is anger, right? And it's usually coming from white cops. And so now we have, and that's not to say that it doesn't happen from black cops. We see it from white cops, right? But I will say that I have not seen the questions or he should have complied, but from the black community, I haven't really seen that. But what I have seen is, you know, why didn't he stop moving? You know, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Part of me, I did see the video, and part of me was saying, like, like, dude, just put your hands behind your back, and they'll just like stop getting beaten.
And that is
And I'm not, and it wasn't even a comply thing. It was like, but they're doing it. And so what I'm understanding is they're saying, put your hands behind your back, and we're not seeing him do it because they're saying that so they can keep hitting it. Like, you know what I mean? Like
right.
You know
manipulation
what I mean? Right.
going
And
on.
so,
but also we're thinking about logic. Right.
Right. But to that point, of all people, the person that kind of put it in perspective, I was like, damn, was Plies, right? I watched his video and he was commenting on it. He said him and a friend of his was watching it. She was like, why don't he just be still? Be still. Why does he keep moving? Right. And he was saying, like, his homegirl was saying this. And he was like, because when you get hit, it hurts. And when you hurt, you move. Mm-hmm. He was like, when you are in, and so for all of you that's watching and like, or for those who think like, hey, be still, think of a time when you hurt yourself, when you stump your toe. Are you still?
Nope. You
think about
up
that.
And down.
When you hit your elbow, the first thing is you move. You trying to shake the pain off. And so you have 5 grown men, and these aren't small men, beating you. When you get hit, it hurts. It hurt to watch. And then it's magnified by it being your own, right? Like, these are your own people doing this to you. And so, like, they're all poor excuses for Black men, right? Because you're not ignorant of how this world views us. You know what white police already do to us. And so now, like, you're part of this crew. Like, this is your ticket into the country club or something. Like,
right.
Like, where does your loyalty lie? And because this is not a case of we're all the same. Because if we were all the same, would we see these same Black cops beating a white person like this? What would be the reaction? What would be the world response? Right? You know what I'm saying?
Jail.
But the thing is, they already under the jail. And that's somewhere we're going in a second. You know what I mean? Like, they showed you who you are, even after you thought you were one of them. Right now, when we think about Derek Chauvin, the one that killed George Floyd, how long did it take for him to get arrested? How long did it take for the 4 officers that beat Rodney King? How George Zimmerman, who's not a cop, was acquitted for killing Trayvon Martin. Like, right? But y'all Black asses was in jail in less than 24 hours. You see what I'm saying? So they were like, pretty much thank you and good night. And it just, I don't want to be numb, but it's almost like, you remember Biggie's response when Pac got shot, the last what he said, excuse me, when he was like, I heard Pac got shot. He was like, and I was like, again, and it's like, that dude always getting shot, and he's a strong dude. He always make it. So you thinking like he gonna, and so you see these beatings, and it's at a point where it's like, damn, again, we see this over and over and over. And so I don't understand, as a Black officer of the law, how you do this, how you view this man who's supposed to be your kinfolk and skinfolk, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think of every time that I've been harassed by police. I'm nowhere near a criminal, but I'm criminalized. That's how I'm looked at. I remember me and Nick were rolling. Nick had bought a new car, right? And we were rolling somewhere, and he's excited about the new car. He had a Chrysler, got him a Chrysler 300 when they was hot, right?
Oh boy.
Yes. And we rolling, and you remember where I used to live? This is when I was on 88th, and we rolling up Budlong. Right.
I see where this is going.
You see where this is going. Yeah. So we head in one direction, the cops is heading opposite of us. When we pulled up, I saw the cop look in the car. Right? Looked at us. He saw who was in the car. I said to Nick right then and there, we about to get pulled over. He was like, "Oh no, baby, we good. I got my, I got the you already know how Nick talk. No, baby, nah, baby, we got what they do. They busted you,
Woo woo.
took us out the car, put us in the back of the police car. No probable cause, nothing. And legit told it. He was like, why don't you just check my register? You see my register? What you pulling us over for? Because he had new car plates. The registration's right there telling you it was mine. Just look at my license and blah, blah, blah. They literally told us, this is how we find out if cars are stolen. Like, so 2 young black men can't be in a brand new car without you thinking that it's stolen. There's no report on a car like this being stolen.
Right.
Like, run the VIN or whatever and say, is this a stolen car? Like, if this is a stolen car, okay, but like, you can do that with us still in the car.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If you see the registration, the license, but one, you have no cause to pull us over in the first place. And I have countless stories about that, being cuffed and just because of where I live, and we can go on and on and on, but it's like, how do we get to a point to where we're looked at? I can't even get to the point where we're treated like when we're looked at as human beings.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so when we start, I've just shifted in my thinking when it comes to like when we have all these relationship conversations and who's doing what to who and who got it the worst. I'm so sick of that shit because of the fact that we got enough going on with being treated like people, just regular human beings, right? It don't matter who's being treated worse. We're both out here being mistreated,
True.
And it's enough. And just speaking from a black man, like, look, I'm just trying to get home alive every day.
I think we underestimate like the severity of that. Like, that's heavy. That's very heavy to go out every day to earn a living, which is stressful enough, to figure that at any point in time, you can meet with somebody that wants to take your life, and you don't make it home.
And it don't matter your education. Like, listen, I have 3 college degrees. I am an administrator, gainfully employed, educated. You know what I'm saying? Got my daddy in my life. I ain't one of them like, oh, I'm good, right? My car is registered, insured, all the legal.
Got your tags. You got the tags.
I got my tags, my L's. I'm good. And I still get nervous when I pass a cop. I don't even like. I damn near drive like an old man. Like, I'm not in. I leave early everywhere so that I'm not in a rush to get anywhere, so I can drive the speed limit, so I don't get pulled over and end up in one of these. And I hate being respectful to cops, and they talk to you any other kind of way to try to trigger you and escalate you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you got to sit there, no, officer, yes, officer. Like, you older than this, like, older, more educated, make more money than sitting here talking about some yes, sir. And it's like, I don't,
And that's another thing when people get into why didn't he, and not necessarily Tyre, but whoever, right? Why didn't he this? Why didn't he that? In many of these cases, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, you're yes, sir, no, sir, compliant, showing the license, and, still being roughed up, handcuffed, facing the dirt, all kind of stuff. I mean, if you're lucky, that's the extent of it. But even that is inhumane. Like, why do I have to go through all of that, period? Mm-hmm. And I remember, so this, at this point, probably about 10 years ago. So remember my black Mustang. When I drove my black Mustang was tinted. Mm-hmm. And I lived, lower Baldwin Hills next to the jungles. But, grew up in LA all my life, knew all this stuff was going on, but like, I'm a girl, I'm like, I'm all right. So, randomly want some McDonald's fries at 11:30 at night, like, let me go on and hit the drive-through. And I was coming back home, and I, had the police do a little move on me, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Because I'm arrogant too. Like, what is your problem? Type situation. So I roll my window down, and he sees, that I'm a woman, and then, he goes on about his business. And it was, and I'm ashamed to really say, like, I was an adult at that point, but it was in that moment I was like, is this what the dudes have to go through? And that was minor, but that was still like, dang, you're following me. I am creeping at this time. Like, okay, now he can't be about to pull me over because I'm barely going 20 miles an hour on the street. But it's like, oh, you thought I was somebody else. And if I was somebody else, this could have gone a different way.
And something for the ladies to think about, right? This is systemic. And think of what this leads to. Black women want a strong black man, right? And assertive and, gainfully employed, a provider and a protector. Think of the two things that they take from us the most in our current state, right? What the two things that you want are the two hardest things for us to be able to give you: provision and protection. It's not that black men aren't out here trying to get education and jobs and everything else, but it's really hard to get a job when you have a record. Who's got more criminal records than anybody? When you're over policed, right? They're not over policing you. I'm not saying these things don't happen to women, but the target is black men, right? Because once you're incarcerated, you don't have any voting rights. It's hard to get a job. You have to disclose that you're marked, right? And how many of us are marked unjustly? It doesn't matter whether you did it or not. Once the paper says it, boom, you're marked, and you have to report that. It's on your record, right? And it's hard as hell to get it off your record. It's like, you see what I'm saying? It takes years to try to fight that, if you can, like, at all. So there's the provision part. Okay, now protection. What did they do to slaves? Like, it's described in the Willie Lynch letter. Let's take the strongest of you, right? Stretching, tarring, feathering in front of everybody. Emasculating, right? If a cop pulls up, and we've seen this like played out. I don't remember the movie Crash when Terrence Howard intended it, right? And they emasculated him. Good. Yeah, they emasculated him in front of his woman and sexually assaulted his woman in front of him, leaving him powerless. And she's like, you didn't protect. He could have been shot, killed. Like, what did you do? It's like, I die to protect her, or I watch and stay alive and try to put her back together. Like, what do you do? You see what I'm saying? And it's crazy because they make it a point to make you powerless. And so then when you talk about a lot of black officers, and I know some black officers, I know some good, my LB is a cop. And so I have some conversations with him and just ask certain questions. But a lot of my homegirls that have dated cops, aggressive,
how do you turn that off? Right? Not that you can't.
But why is it turned on?
But that's the point that I'm making. Like, they are aggressive on these jobs. We already know that. And so, how do you go from that to like over here? Like, somebody they paying the price on both sides.
But a lot of it is like you going out here asserting yourself. So the thing is, I know you have to have a certain mindset, because you can go out here and get killed. Like, it's bad people out there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I get it. But you also have cops that's going out here being bullies and like, I'm running this around here. Like, you feel me? And those are the ones that I'm talking about. And they take that same thing home. Like, I'm gonna dominate out here in these streets, and I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna dominate this woman. And like,
everybody's
bro, because you have a badge and a gun. And I've seen cops, I know I can whoop their ass. Like, take off that, like, you protected by that. I had a cop put his hands on me one time, like push me in the back. I was at work, like there was an accident, And this is when I was teaching at Job Corps, and my kids were coming from lunch, so they were like across the street. And I'm trying to guide them across the street so I can get them out of harm's way back to the center so they can go back to class. And the cop was telling me to move. I'm trying to explain to him, like, my kids are over there. I'm just trying to get my kids. And and I'm like, bro, you ain't even got to do all of that. Like, let me, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, they're pulling me back because I'm getting a little aggy. And when I'm turned around and walking away, and he pushed me in my back. Like, and I turned around and I'm like, holla at me without that badge. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I called him I was like, how much of a coward, you know what I'm saying? Or you got a badge and a gun and you still hit me with my back turned, you know? And this was in front of my students and coworkers, you know what I'm saying? And I'm in classrooms teaching them how to conduct themselves. And here I am having to like walk away. And this was a little dude too, little Napoleon, like bro,
of course.
You know, and so that's hard because of who we are as men. It's like, wait, what? Like, apples for apples. Like, would you do that without that badge? Would you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, when you off work, is that what you're doing? And that's the kind of stuff that we deal with. And so it's like, when you have this fear of going out in the world wondering if you're gonna get home alive, because anything can happen, like in the streets or with the cops, you don't even know who to look out for. But I feel safer in the streets than I do near cops. You know, the streets ain't never sweated me. The streets always looked out for me. And so I've always been sweated by the cops. And so it's a lot, you know, and it's hard when I hear women say you don't feel protected. We don't need
And there it is, right? Like, we're in the same basket, if you will, you know. And somebody needed to hear that.
Yeah.
Somebody needed to hear that, because a lot of times, you know, just focused on self, you're not considering, you know, your partner has this. I mean, we're talking about in the context of, you know, police, but just in life, right? Men and women have the same fears and the same insecurities and the same weak spots. And, you know, we may think like, oh, one should have it together. But like, the truth of the matter is everybody's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to figure it out.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I think I brought this up on the show before. I was talking to one of my boys, and we just had a very candid discussion. And he talked about an evening where he admitted to his wife, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, as a husband, and like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I thought about that, like, and I posted it on my Facebook page, and I asked the fellas, like, as a husband and a father, do you ever feel like you don't know what you're doing? And they were all, every day.
Like, woo, I'm glad somebody said it.
Right, you know. And so it's like, I just wanted the ladies to see that, because again, like, women want a dude that's on, you know, got his stuff together, but like, y'all, you want somebody to come in and handle things and make sure everything. We don't know what we're doing. A lot of us, we're figuring it out as we go. And so somebody like, you can't ask me, somebody asked me like, what kind of husband? I ain't been a husband. I have zero experience. I've never been married. I don't know what kind of husband I'm gonna be. I know what kind of husband I want to be. Right? But then that's gonna be dependent on the woman that I have, because every relationship is different. I don't know. And I think that, you know, I've got to this part to where in dating, just look, I don't know what I'm doing.
And here's the real. Even if you knew, you're gonna change. Right. You gonna start one way and you go
right. We go in doing what we think we know how to, like, it's all learn. It's guesswork until you learn, and then boom. And
evolution.
At the end of the day, and I posted this, you know, in the video journal. And if y'all haven't checked it out, you know, go to my IG or my TikTok, Barzini Speaks on IG. But in the first episode of this, I'm talking about all we want is love, right? And I sum pretty much the episode up. We got so much back and forth, and men this and women this, and we want this, and they not doing that. And all we're really saying at the end of all of that is, I want to be loved, and I don't want to be hurt. And we're trying to find the least painful, or the path of least resistance to the love that we're looking for, right? And we're not honest with ourselves about what's hurt us, what's not hurt us, what we like, what we don't like. And we're trying to portray this certain image, and I deserve this, and I'm not taking this, and it shut up. Right? Because I also realize this: a lot of you are not hard to get, you're hard to love. And I think all of us has probably been there at some point in time. Like, and we have this vision of ourselves that we want people to see or believe, and it's not true. And at what point do we get to our vulnerable, transparent, authentic self and state what we want and say, hey, I need help with this. I'm not good at this. I don't know what I'm doing here, but blah, 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 blah. But we look at what we're not getting from someone, most times that we haven't earned from that person, getting mad that we're not getting it from, or they're not this person, and then we shame them for it. Like, you're shaming somebody for not knowing. Like, who's to say that they were raised and they've seen these things and they know how to do these things, right? Like,
yeah.
So
I mean, it takes a lot of vulnerability on both sides, right? One, to say, I don't know, I need help. It's hard because you want to tell men, like, just say it. But then I know, there are some women that they don't provide a soft landing place for you. So we end up getting the facade and the bravado and all of that because you're afraid to really let it down and say, so I don't know what the answer is. Like, I feel like if you are in a relationship, you should be mature enough to know that your partner is not perfect. You're not perfect. And you're going to need each other. There's going to be times when, he's really, really going to need you. There's going to be times when you really, really need him. Sometimes you're going to be strong. Sometimes he's going to be strong. Like, that's the point of partnership. Yeah. Like, if everybody got it going on, then we really don't need each other.
Right. Right. And
I got it, you got it.
Yeah. It's hard. Like, listen, there's just, I've never worked so hard being alone. You would think it's just easy. Like, I feel like I'm cleaning all the time. And it's just me. I legit be getting mad. Like, I got a house full of people like, y'all need to clean up. And it's me. Forks be coming up missing. I don't know where my socks are sometimes. And and I live, nobody is here. It's me. Right?
My homegirl just put a post up like that. Like, I'm I'm washing, I'm cleaning, I'm getting the car fixed. I thought I was supposed to be a helpmate. Right. Somebody said, no, you the main mate. I was hollering. But yes, but hopefully that season is coming to a close very soon, that you will be able to.
Listen, I stopped counting the days.
You have to count the days, but
no. I mean, a lot of people, like, I'm not spending my single life dreading being single. Do I desire to stay single? Nah, but all I can do in this time is keep working on me.
That's true.
And become the version of me that is conducive to the type of woman that I want. Right? Because sometimes you find that you don't know until after you get that thing that you're praying for, that all those times that you were praying for, you weren't ready and you didn't know it. Right? And I was talking to my therapist in our session. Yeah. But I was talking to my therapist, and I be breaking down in therapy sometimes because I'll be like, you get that she be Miyagi-ing me all the time. Like she's learned to learn how to guide me to some thoughts. But like just the way that my life has always worked out, like where I am today is nothing but God,
Yeah.
and just the word came to me like every time I was going through something, everything that was happening that I felt was happening to me, I later realized it was happening for me. And so dating it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel great, but sometimes it's really just that. And you got to figure out that thing, when you don't have those things that you want, what are you doing wrong? What are you not learning? What are you not getting? What are you not connecting to? What are you not getting rid of? What are you?
I have one little, not better, but just to slide right in there. You got to ask somebody, because there's what you think. You're going to always think you got it going on. I mean, you might be able to pinpoint some stuff like, oh, I should be a little more like this. But if you want to really grow, allow somebody the opportunity to really tell you about yourself. That doesn't feel good at all. But that's where you're really going to get it.
Well, people tell me about me all the time.
Well,
people don't hold back telling me about me.
You have to be willing to receive whatever it is as well. I mean, I did it in terms of like business and leadership, right? Ultimately, I did. I gotten out of a relationship and kind of asked some questions in the rear view. But, it's just interesting that people experience you differently than you intend. And sometimes how you perceive. It's just like, really? Like, who are they describing? Because that's not me. But you have to give credence to that, because not that that's the person that you're going to be with, but that's a representation of, right? Like somebody else is going to experience you, and it may not always be, sunshine and roses or whatever you think it is. So to your point, yes, working on those things, but identifying what it is to work on. Because if you're around thinking like, oh no, I'm good. And you might be like overall, right? Like then you're an overall great guy, I'm an overall great girl, but there's like that thing right there that we could, be working on.
And I'm mostly I do that with people that I trust, right? Like I'm not somebody who allows people who doesn't have that relationship with me to
absolutely
tell me. Like first of all, no matter who you are, you can't tell me who I am, right? You can tell me what you see, what you experience, and what you perceive, right? And it may be correct or incorrect. Like the action that you see is like, that's what you see. Now, when people start to tell me why I do things like, oh, you do this because, pause. You can't tell me why I do this, or oh, you think pause. You can't tell me what I think. Oh yeah, you feel like, but pause. You can't tell me what I feel. Like those are out of bounds. Let me share what I think and feel, or you can give me your observation of what I do and let me connect that to the thoughts that I have and the feelings that I have. Right? Like, oh, well, I do that possibly because this thing, or I'm affected by this, or this trauma here, or this experience here, right? And then I can put the pieces together. But when you sit here and try to tell me who, it's problems, because like
I feel you on that.
Yeah, I'm a lot of things, but I am a very self-aware man, right? Does that mean that there's not things that I still need to be walked through or I miss? No. Absolutely. That's why I'm in therapy every damn week, right? But you can't tell me my experience or discount my experience because you had an experience. You know what I mean? Or if I'm telling you why this, and this, and you discount it, problems.
I don't like people telling me about me. You can ask me about me.
Right?
There's only been one person been riding this ride for 42 years. And so
Exactly. And they do that so that because people try to fit you or understand you according to their narrative to make you more palatable for them, you know. So trying to psychoanalyze me
Yeah.
and it's a lot because I even was sharing with my boss today. They like to do all these Philly trainings and trauma and blah blah blah. And I'm not in that space to be sharing my inner traumas with
Mm.
coworkers, right? And I was like, I'm not participating. Like, if you have an informational session, I'm all ears. I'm not sharing and I'm not doing these exercises and unpacking things in this session. I was like, because nobody in this room is qualified to close the jar if I open it in here, you know.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, she's a certified counselor. She's not my counselor. She's not my therapist. You don't know me. You don't have that relationship with me to be. There's no certification that's going to be able to do that without having an experience with me and knowing, right? Like, I've been with my therapist for 3 years now, and we meet
Mm.
every week, and still there's like she's learned me, and like it's taken her that long to be able to. She can navigate my mind masterfully and seamlessly now. Like, she puts things in perspective that I can't even put in perspective myself. I literally just talk and I feel so disconnected and disjointed. I'm just throwing thoughts out there, right?
Mm.
Everything that I can't tell the rest of the world, I'm just like boom, boom, boom. And she's like, grab that, grab that, grab that, and puts the puzzle pieces together. So what I'm hearing is, and I'm like,
Shout out to trained professionals.
right,
That's why they exist.
yeah. And so it's that's where I go to, like, okay, get the energy to go back into this world that scares the shit out of me sometimes. I done cussed twice on the show when we're supposed to be stopping out. My bad, YouTube.
Mhm. That's okay. This
So
is one of those evenings, you know. It's
yeah,
just there's so many feelings, and we've
right,
gone, but we've done some of this
yeah,
all night. But it's okay. We're
yeah.
family.
But just a last point about the Tyre Nichols murder. That's near and dear to us is that Dre and I are both members of the D9 Black Greek Letter organizations. Dre is a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Shout out to Sigma and Kappa. Um, but it's uh, even more disheartening for us because three of the officers involved were also Greek, members of Black Greek Letter organizations. They were members of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. For the uninitiated, the Q Dogs, if you don't know, right? um, and so we do a lot of trolling each other and talking and ragging on each other's organizations, all in fun. But it is definitely a family, a brother and sisterhood, and it's one of those situations to where we can talk about each other, but y'all bet not talk about us. Right. So if you're not in it, don't you know. And that being said, what we saw from these, I use men lightly when I say this.
Mhm.
Um but it was not representative of what Black Greek letter organizations stand for or represent in general. And forgive me for speaking on behalf of Omega Psi Phi, but it is not what Omega Psi Phi stands for or represents either. And I say that comfortably because they released a statement saying
I'm
it.
about to say you
Yeah,
repeating what they wrote.
they
Mm-hmm.
said it already. So there were some posts out there calling for Omega to release a statement. And before I had read the statement, my stance on that initially was like, Omega doesn't have a police division, right? Omega didn't train these dudes as officers,
Right.
and nor were they acting on behalf of or in the interest of Omega when they did what they did. There is another fraternity that they're a part of that they were acting on behalf of. And I mentioned that this was not a purple and gold issue. This was a black in blue issue. And I'm not and blue, black in blue.
Mm-hmm.
issue. And so it's just amazing to me how Blue Lives Matter is real silent, and the shield and the shield's not protecting them, you
Mm-mm.
know.
Because they
Um
still black.
because they you steal, Jay-Z said it best, you steal,
You
N-word,
know. Mm-hmm.
right? And um so for those, you can search it, and we'll link it in the comments, the statement that Omega Sci-Fi released, condemning them for their actions, and also expelling them from the fraternity. So they are no longer members of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and deservedly so. And so I just, my biggest thing is not to, they got everything they deserved swiftly, as they should have. I just always find it crazy how it happens so quickly when you black.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, no hesitation. Like, oh
Nope.
yeah, condemn them,
Strip them of
jail.
this,
Like,
strip them
yeah,
of this, strip them of this.
right. They don't have to think
Charged,
about it. Yeah.
fired.
And the interesting part. So I did ask, my LB did share this with me, because we always, as a community, we get mad when officers are put on administrative leave when they, excuse me, commit crimes. And I was talking to my LB about it. He explained that's standard procedure. Like, it's not they're trying to figure it out. It's like something happens and you go on administrative leave, like, just off rip.
Mm.
Where was the admin leave here? Not that they deserved it. I'm not saying, hey, they should have got admin leave. But if it's standard procedure, we skipped over all of that. Like, when you black, it's ain't no admin leave. You go, and I'm saying that's how it should be. See,
Right.
justice gets served when when you black. Oh, if the perpetrator is black, justice is served swiftly. But it seems like when you white, we have to. Did they really commit a crime?
Mm.
Did like, keep that same energy? And not only that, you've shown that you can do it. You've shown you ain't got to think about it. You see the tape, it's right there. Act right. Now, the only discrepancy was like if it happened, January. I don't know when they were arrested. Was it before or after the tape came out? But um, they moved swiftly. It didn't take nearly as long as it does these white officers.
Mm-mm.
And so just shout out to the Greek community, those who uphold the standards and tenets of your letters, and wear with pride. And just to say, like, being part of a Greek lettered organization does not exempt you from being an asshole.
Say it again.
you
Okay.
know you just joining one of our organizations doesn't make you a different person. It doesn't make you a better person. It means you're part of an organization that hopefully you can learn from and network with people that can make you better. It doesn't give you license to do whatever you want to do. It doesn't give you license to condescend or hurt people or look down your nose at people, and certainly not to abuse and murder people. And so our letters are meant for community, communion, fellowship, brotherhood, and sisterhood. And they didn't exemplify any of those. And so when you think about this fraternity of the police force, where do your tenets come in? To protect and serve. Was that
Mm.
protection? Was that service? Because not only do you owe protection to those who you mean to protect, you owe protection to those whom you mean to police as well. Like, even as a criminal or alleged criminal, in this case, we still have rights, you know, innocent until proven guilty. But when you're black, it's we don't even get to court anymore. Like, it doesn't apply to us. You know what I mean? Um, and so yeah, that's a tough part about, seeing the backlash for, all of the cues that we know, the omegas that we know, and love, to see members of their organization involved in this, right? And I
Right.
know they're getting a lot of questions and stuff like that. So,
Right.
um,
Right. And that's just one side of it. I was privy to um, a message that was warning the members in that area really to be safe, not to wear letters. They were closing down their complex just, to be certain that there wasn't any type of retaliation. And that's the part, where we really need to educate the public. Like, okay, as you mentioned, like these, yes, they were members, but they were also members of presumably anything else, the
mhm,
schools they went to. You mentioned like churches they may have gone to, the families that they're a part of. Does that then mean you go and attack these people's moms and dads and sisters and brothers and
mhm,
pastors? So it's
right,
just a little ridiculous, right?
mhm,
There are groups of people that are parts of organizations and religious sects and so on and so forth that do bad things because humans do bad things.
mhm,
It doesn't mean that the entirety of a membership or community is bad. Same way that we look at, and we have seen many examples of crooked police,
mhm,
but we are not looking at all police the same way because, of course, we have examples of those that are upholding their badges. So I just think it applies on both sides. Like, don't be stupid.
yeah.
And I'm
And I
sure
will,
our viewers are not, but just in case
right.
this gets beyond,
And
you
now,
know,
and I'll be honest, while I cognitively and logically know all police aren't bad, it's getting harder and harder to separate them.
well, then there's that. Like I said, we
Yeah.
have way more examples to say boo on the police as a whole than
Hmm.
you do on Omega Sci-Fi. Like, really?
Right. You
So,
know, but it's an opportunity. And again, like one of my biggest issues with everything that goes on in our community is that we don't control our own narrative. We don't control media, not even
mm,
social media, right? Algorithms, all that other stuff, they decide what you see, you know. And I'll give an example, like, and we talked about this like on my own page. When I post something silly or funny or a video, mad engagement, right? When I post something meaningful,
don't nobody want to hear
right? No, like
that.
seriously, the numbers are down. You know, when I talk
Mhm.
about things that are helpful to men or up, like numbers are down. You know,
That's
and
why
I
we have
don't
to
think
create our own network,
right. And so,
Crossroads
and I
Network.
don't, yeah, and I don't necessarily believe that it's people are just passing it by.
They're
I
not
truly
seeing it.
believe they're not seeing it.
Hmm.
You know, they control what's fed. Like, oh no, this is gonna help. Nah, we're not giving that. What heal black men? Nah.
Right. Especially not y'all.
Oh
Mm-mm.
no, no.
Can't do
Um,
that.
yeah. So we can go on ad nauseum about
Right.
this, but y'all, we still want to hear your voice
It's
as
been
we're getting
quiet
ready.
tonight. The numbers are holding, but they're like, mm-mm.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
yeah,
just too much to talk about. I
yeah.
understand. So
It's
we're the
heavy. We get
voices
it.
for this
We see,
evening.
we see y'all. We see y'all. We just don't hear y'all tonight, and that's perfectly fine. We still,
Yeah.
we love y'all and appreciate y'all. Hold us down. Maybe when you can process it, if you want to leave it in the comments or send us a message about your thoughts, um,
Hmm.
about the show. But I just want us to come together, um and don't believe the narratives that are out there, y'all. It's so easy, you know, to believe like, oh, black men aren't protecting us, and oh, black women, they don't support us, and like all of that's BS, y'all. It really is. And at the end of the day, you know, on behalf of black men, ladies, we love you. um we're out here risking our lives every day trying to stay alive so we can protect you. You know what I mean? um it's just we have to start seeing each other. I was about to say see each other differently. I'm gonna just say it's time for us to start seeing each
See.
other.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, we have to see each other. And protect each other, and that protection looks different, but ladies, we need protection from you as well. And that's like emotional protection when, like that's a lot of us that's out here scared, and I know we like to say, oh, I fear no man and like, but that's not the type of fear we're talking about. It's like, if I stand up, will I remain standing? And because we know we have to stand up, we don't have a choice, um but that's our reality, you know what I mean? And every day we make it home. Like most people say, I'm glad I woke up. Like, I'm glad I have an opportunity to go to sleep. I made it. It ain't getting out of getting out the bed ain't never been a problem. You know, it's making it back to the bed that, um, yeah.
Well, that's a realization. And, we got some things to talk about. I've been taking some notes. We have some things that we can unpack further to help us get along. But we're meeting here at the crossroads. That's step one, so that we can hear each other's perspective and learn. And I will say for myself, if no one else feels this way, I am so appreciative of this podcast and the opportunity to read comments and some of the things, of course, that come from my co-hosts. It's just eye-opening. It's not necessarily that you don't want to know or understand. You just don't, right? Like if it's not something that you've ever thought of before or have had to deal with before or cared about before. And now you're just like, oh, I never thought about that. So now I find myself when I read things on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, I'm like, sis, let me help you. Yeah. The light's been turned off for me. I'm gonna turn on the light for somebody else, and lovingly, because I understand, where we're all coming from. So please join us. When we have these conversations, we will be kicking off season 2 very soon, where you'll have those regular episodes, and then we'll do lives for things like, pop culture. Hopefully we won't have any heavy news like this for some time. And then we'll dive into a little snowfall as they wrap up the
right
series.
And what else is dropping this month? And the snowfall and
it's like everything. Well, BMF is already out. I don't know if you watched that.
I started watching that when I was at Maisha's for a birthday. Well, I didn't start. I wasn't. She had it on. I don't know what episode, whatever.
Oh, okay.
So I peeked at it. So I need to go back. And then I'm seeing a whole lot of skits. I can't think of dude's name, but I started following him because he's doing skits from BMF.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm like, I gotta stop watching him because it's gonna spoil it for me, and I'm gonna just be laughing when it come up. So I do have to go back and start trying to watch BMF. I don't know why I'm brain farting, but it's a new season of something coming out this month, and I gotta figure it out. But
I know Harlem is season 2 of I don't know if you watched that either.
Godfather
Harlem. No.
Oh, well, Harlem. Oh,
that too. But Harlem.
No, I don't watch Harlem. I don't even know why you like. If we gotta listen. If we don't have to talk about it on the show, I don't watch stuff like that. I just got to get your commentary.
Well, for everybody else, Married at First Sight, Nashville is actually looking promising. So I'm tuned in to that.
All the realities that I let her do the recon on that.
That's the only thing. I don't watch any Real Housewives anymore. I don't, I'm trying to. Because I do believe, as much as I feel like, for myself, I watch that kind of stuff because it's like mindless and whatever. But my mom said this to me many years ago and throughout the years, like you have to protect your eye gates and your ear gates. She's like, stuff that you let into your system, it's going to get into you. And so I really have been mindful about the things that I take in. Even if I think like, oh, I would never do that, you wind up sounding like one of these fools. And then, that's the reason why. So.
And I'm also on my journey, like with social media, changing my algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
Because like all the contentious relationship stuff, I scroll past as much as possible.
Yeah.
I don't engage in all that. People like to send it to me. Oh, what are your thoughts? Because historically, I'll be going. I don't even open it. I don't read it. I don't comment on it. Sometimes I'm
Yeah.
like a lot of times I'll just like
You send me funny videos now. They
yeah,
usually are
yeah. I
funny.
don't. Yeah, I'm like because that's what I do. I just want to laugh. I want to be happy. I don't want to watch stuff that's gonna make me angry. I don't want to watch stuff that's about to stir up trauma or trigger me, or because
Yeah.
and the reason why I don't want to watch or look at contentious videos and man and woman hate is because that's not what I'm looking for. So I'm trying to stop putting things in front of me that I don't want because that's all the
Good
focus is.
job.
So it's like I don't want that. That's not the kind of man I am. This is not the kind of woman I want. So I'm not entertaining that. Now if we have to discuss it on the show, if it's like, hey, we can dive into this, like the one I sent you today.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even read the whole thing. Like somebody said, and I even commented when somebody said that. I was like, I didn't even,
Yeah.
because it gets triggering. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even when you're not trying to. So the best way to do it is to not, like if you don't, it's like food, y'all. If you don't like that food, don't put it on your plate. Don't eat it. Don't put it in front of you. I don't eat liver, so I don't cook liver. I don't buy liver. I don't prepare liver. Like, so I never have to worry about tasting liver because I don't put it on my
Amen.
plate. I don't put it before me. So we can go
Amen.
on and on, y'all. But this has been another episode of the Crossroads. While with a heavy heart, we had some laughs at the beginning, but we had to get down to the real. We could not let this go without discussing it. Next week, God willing, it will be lighter,
Right.
And so but we love y'all for hanging in with us. This is what family does. We can laugh together, and sometimes we cry together. And it took a lot for me not to, to drop a couple. Before I do want to give a shout out to my god baby, Ryan Marie. She's having a tough time right now. She lost a friend. So
Really?
yeah. So I'm trying. I
Oh
got to get through this because so I did call to check on Maisha. Maisha told me that one of her friends died, and y'all, she's only 8 years
no. She's
old.
like
So
8.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she's so heartbroken. And so I talked to her, and it was like I can't even imagine what Maisha's going through, having to console the
Oh.
unconsoled. But she, that baby was on the phone just crying. I didn't even have the words to tell her. I told her it's okay to cry. Like if you gotta cry, go ahead. Like don't even try to hold it in. If she
Mm.
needs me to call me. So I don't even know what to send her. She likes I don't even know she's still into teddy bears. I gotta but God daddy gotta send something, to try to make her feel better or
Oh
something like that.
God.
But yeah, so
That's a hard age to have that experience, and then especially like, well, they've lost like their grandmother. I don't even know
mhm,
if she remembers that, but like a peer at that
yeah.
age has to
Hmm.
be.
Right. And so
Oh,
Maisha posted it like pictures of them two together, like on her stories, and I'm like, oh, I can't, you know what I mean? Like,
I miss
and at this
that.
age, like as I get older, I get more emotional. Like when you're young, it's like nah, like you
Yeah.
men, like when you get older, men, your hormones change and stuff
Oh, child.
starts.
Well, you saw
Listen,
my daddy at my wedding, so
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, oh,
I felt so
oh,
bad. I was just like,
Mr. Oh, listen, when I tell you, Mr. McGee.
he was no
He
good.
was, and it was. I know it was tears of joy, but like y'all, he didn't. It was not one of them tough cries. It wasn't one of
No
them. He didn't give.
wailing.
He didn't
You would have
give a.
thought
I'm
something
talking
happened to
about.
me.
I'm talking about loud, ugly cry. Like it was. It was from the.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, "Are we gonna get? Is he gonna make it? Is
I
he?
wasn't sure.
Yeah."
Before I said my vows, I had to go over there and check. I was like, pause. Let me make
Right,
sure my
right.
daddy
Listen,
is go.
he was feeling his baby getting and I
Yeah,
don't know if
bless
it
his
was
heart.
like my baby or it was about time, but one
No, he
of
told me, he
I know.
said, no, he thought about, you know, well, I was 40 years old when I got married. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was about time. But like that all those years, he was just like, you're never giving me any trouble. You did everything you're supposed to do. And it was just, I was just overjoyed to see you in that space. And because, everybody loves #boo, it was just, I don't think he even knew he was going to be that overcome, but he was just like,
He
it was
couldn't
like,
have known. Like that kind of emotion that's that out the
yeah.
blue. Like you don't plan or anticipate that type of emotion, y'all. And so that wasn't nothing but love just coming all, and he couldn't stop it if he tried. He eventually got it together, and then the reception happened, and
and then it was all over again.
Like every time his name, listen, every time mom was like, yo, listen.
You read it all over her.
Oh, I had to have a talk with mom because mom came over to me. I was like, look, when
she said, why do people keep pulling me to the side? Because they know you.
All in her, he all in his heart, she all in her neck.
Oh, child.
Bobblehead all night. This mom all night.
Oh,
child. Mama, if you don't knock him. Listen, as chocolate as she is, I'm surprised her elbow wasn't red by everybody grabbing it. Come here. Yo, this her head. Hold up, this her head. I don't know. Somebody caught it on camera.
Not lying.
Listen.
He's not lying.
Oh, I'm talking about. She probably had dimples by the end of the night from her jaws being so tight. Making this face.
Oh God!
But a good time was had.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. But it wasn't without its comedy. It wasn't without its comedy. So, y'all, we love y'all because we gonna end up going out right there. So, thank y'all for coming. And as always, remember, be free, to be you.
We love y'all. Have a good night.